Jana, we have a little bit of a spicy topic today. Do you remember what it
Spicy.
is?
Yeah, yes. It's so funny. I do get this question still from time to time. And I
I
used to
get
get it a
it
lot, and you get it
a
all the
lot.
time. Yeah, from your Pinterest students, I'm sure, in the membership. People ask us, like, is it okay, like, well, sometimes they say, is it okay to be like pinning my competitors' Pinterest pins on my boards? Or sometimes it comes in a different format, like it'll be like, or from a different energy, like I don't want to pin my competitors' pins. How can I find pins that are relevant for my boards without having to, give my competitors a boost? So that's our topic today. Should you be pinning competitors' pins? I mean, let's just like take any charge away from it and just answer it like denotatively, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to cut to the chase, and then we'll just end this live right now.
Yeah, we'll just be like, okay, yes, bye.
Uh,
Thanks for
So, I
watching.
mean, there's obviously there's obviously some considerations to be taken into your decision making.
Yeah, and we'll talk about
I
them. We'll
think
talk about them.
I I pin some of my competitors' pins. I don't
Mhm.
see most of my what you would consider competitors to actually be competitors. I see them as colleagues.
Hmm.
Like we work in the same marketing department and we're just working on different projects. That's basically how I see like you and when you were creating Pinterest content and Teresa and Kate and
Hmm.
whoever else, Archana.
Yeah.
Um, I don't see a lot of other Pinterest content that I think would be worthy of going on my boards, so I don't pin that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think you just kind of mentioned a few of the like considerations. If you are going to repin other people's pins, and that's a whole nother conversation, like how often should you be doing it? How many per board? Why would you do it? Do you have to do it? Right? We've had conversations about that, and we might touch on that a little today, but we have different videos that talk about that. This is really specifically
Mhm.
about competitors' pins. But when you're doing that, when it is appropriate to pin other people's pins to your boards, you should be pinning things that are quality content.
Mm.
And so if you have competitors out there that are using similar keywords to you, that are talking about similar topics, and there's kind of a difference, I think, too, between like similar topics and adjacent topics, which we can talk about. Um,
Mhm.
if it's quality content, I have no problem pinning it. And I agree with you. I don't really think about like all of us as competitors. I think in the Pinterest marketing world, we've been especially fortunate because those of us who kind of like came up to and sort of, without sounding snotty here, kind of like rose to the top and became the leaders of of Pinterest marketing. One of the reasons we became leaders is because we have this like abundance mindset, right? We're not like
Yeah,
scarcity, like, oh my God, I don't want to help my competitors. So our industry might be, our industry, our niche, whatever, might be a little different too. Like there may be niches out there. People might be listening to this live or on the replay and thinking, yeah, but my niche is a little different. And I will acknowledge that like it is different in different, it's like we have
for sure.
our own little culture among Pinterest managers. And for the most part, we do help each other a lot. We refer to each other. We have like over the years, we've had lots of spaces where we could go and say like, oh, what do you guys all think is going on with this? And like share ideas and whatnot. So we've been really fortunate in that way, and that's part of why we have this perspective. Um, but yeah, I mean, you and I both feel the same way that like, yes, pin other people's pins, other like competitors' pins, if you agree with what they're teaching and you think that what they have is, and I don't mean it has to be exactly what you teach, but if you think that they have
Yeah,
a quality approach to, helping people. And so you and I can, like you said, rattle off the names of five, six, maybe eight or nine or 10 people if we try. And there's plenty of others out there as well that we just don't, know off the top of our heads or think about right away. But and people who are up and coming as well, like people who are
yep.
being mentored by you, who are Pinterest managers and are becoming the leaders of the niche because they're being mentored by you. Yeah, I'll stop there. That's basically what I wanted to say is that like if there's people out there that you trust that are teaching what you're teaching, but maybe from different perspectives, for different audiences, even for the same audience, like yeah, we don't have a problem with repinning competitors' pins, and I think it's very healthy to have the mindset that you don't mind doing that either. Again, with the caveat that we have a certain point of reference because we're really lucky to be in this, having been in this niche, you still are, that is just so collaborative and like collaboration over competition. So, okay, rant
Yeah.
over. rant over from that
Well, and
perspective.
as a reminder for anyone that isn't aware of how Jana and I started this whole thing, we were invited to a clubhouse weekly like clubhouse thing with JJ Gat, who like put all of us together in
Yeah.
the COVID years. So there were like
Yes.
14 of us.
Yeah. Collaboration over competition.
And we just like had these massive Pinterest rooms and we all like drew audiences in and um I think that was just a great
Yeah.
opportunity. And
Yeah.
obviously like you and I got to meet and then we started this clubhouse thing and then YouTube and
Yep.
we've traveled together now and
Yeah.
you've come to see
We
me and I've
become
come to see
friends.
you
Yeah.
and we've met in the middle and like yeah, it's been great. And I think that depending on how you want to go about it, when it comes to the Pinterest piece, you can do it with friends or other colleagues, or you
Hmm.
can do it with complete strangers.
Yep.
And the truth of the matter is, the way that Pinterest works is I don't believe a lot of people are going to boards and looking at them and being like, ugh, she has another person's pins on her boards.
Hmm.
Only you are thinking that.
Yeah.
Only you, and not Jana here. Anyone watching.
Well, and I think some people might think like, oh, if I'm saving my competitors' pins, I'm giving them like a boost in the algorithm. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's true. It's true, but
Mhm.
I just don't think that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
as again, as long as it's someone who I, have respect for. It could be someone who I have respect for and also think very similarly to and teach very similarly to from a values perspective, like you. Or it could be someone who I'm like, oh yeah, they teach really differently than me, but what they're doing is, I respect it and I'm
Yeah.
happy to save their pins. So,
Yeah.
and I think like functionally speaking or practically speaking, one time where this happens, you and I have talked about this before in other videos and in other content, but when you're creating like a new Pinterest board, you seed the board, SEED. I still do that when I create a new board. And that means adding some pins to that board that probably have similar keywords that are really on topic for that board. So for example, that might look for me in this case as like, I mean, I don't really specialize in just Pinterest anymore, or in Pinterest, like you're much more still involved in the day-to-day of like you literally are working with
Yeah.
Pinterest on projects and stuff.
Yeah.
But if I were starting a new Pinterest board right now and it was about something Pinterest oriented, let's say I did like I wanted a board that's called like Grow Your Pinterest Followers, let's just say. I don't know that I'd create that board, but if I did, I would search Grow Your Pinterest Followers and I would see what pins came up at the top. And I would add a
Mhm.
few of those pins that I know are quality pins. I might check to see, make sure the link is going where it's supposed to and things like that. And I would add those to that board to seed, SEED, the board. And that helps
Mhm.
Pinterest know what that board is about, right? It's one of the ways, not the only way, but one of the ways where when we create a new board, we're letting it know, Pinterest know, like this is the type of content that I'm going to be pinning to this board. And that makes it easier for Pinterest to show the pins that we put on there that are our pins to the right people.
Mhm.
So if I do that right now, if I search something like that, most likely the people whose pins are going to come to the top are going to be like yours, other people that we know that are leaders in the community. And so I'm going to save those pins to that board, even though you guys are my competitors, quote,
Yeah.
quote, right? Some people would perceive you as a competitor. So,
Yeah. And um, I mean, one of the things in my membership that I kind of coach my students through is if you don't want to put other people's pins on your board, fine. You can either make it secret or leave it public and just start adding pins to it right away. So anytime I create a new board,
hmm.
depending on what it's about, like I'm looking at a board right now called business growth.
Hmm.
I don't really have a lot of general business growth pins. So, pin a few other people's pins to that,
Hmm.
and then maybe a couple of mine. But if
Hmm.
I'm creating a board like Canva templates, then I'm
Yep.
just going to save my own content to that board because
Yep.
I do have plenty.
Yep.
And if you don't have plenty when you start a brand new board, then
That's,
just make some.
yeah. Yeah, you could. But don't you think there's some, I don't know, algorithmic benefit or whatnot? Not that we're obsessed with the algorithm, but with taking like the top ranking pins for that keyword and putting them on your board. I mean,
Yeah,
in your case, you probably have the top ranking pins for those topics, but most people don't have
I
the
don't know if
ability
I
to say,
do.
oh, all the top ranking pins for that topic are actually mine, right? That's not, you have that because you've worked so
I
hard to get
might,
there. Yeah.
I might, but Yes and no. So pins that are other people's that you are saving to your profile do have the ability in the engagement algorithm to, especially like really popular pins,
Hmm.
to be seen, to be continue to be shared. And then if people engage with those, then a couple of things can happen. The algorithm might show some of your content to the viewer. More likely what's going to happen is the algorithm is going to show more content from the creator of that pin, who it's linked to,
Okay.
who it's claimed by.
Yep.
So, I mean, yes and no. Like, there's definitely a possibility that more pins on that board could then be shown in the engagement algorithm to that viewer. It's definitely going to boost your overall profile views,
Hmm.
which
Eh,
doesn't really do you any good if
right.
people aren't seeing your pins. So, yeah, I think if you want to, go for it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think there
I don't
used to
think
be,
it's
and I
like
don't,
a make or
again,
break.
right. And there's mystery to this. I mean, if anyone knows the answer for sure, it would be you. And you
Yeah,
don't really because and my point is that like, what's wrong?
get my elbow.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it your funny? Did you hit your funny bone?
No, thankfully,
Oh, that's the worst.
just
I'm
this
glad you didn't
pointy
hit the.
part.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were grimacing because I was saying you don't know. I was like, oh my God, what did I say? No, I'm just saying that like, so if we pose the question like, if I pin my competitor's pin and it's a top ranking pin, and then someone engages with it, will Pinterest then turn around and pin? I mean, show other pins from that board, which presumably would be my own pins, to that person
Mhm.
next in their feed, right? We definitely over the years have thought that that was possible, and we've kind of noticed that that happens sometimes.
Yeah,
Um, but like, if you just needed to know, like, if you asked Heather that question and you're like, is that true, Heather, or is it not true? You're going to say, like, it could be, right? We've seen it
mhm.
happen. And no one, I mean, no one that I know is in a better position who's a Pinterest educator to actually give us a straight answer because you work directly with Pinterest and know a lot of like, stuff that a lot of people don't know. But even you can't say for sure because things are always
No.
changing and it's dynamic. Like
Well,
there's a lot of different ways that that could play out or not play out depending on lots of circumstances. There's no like crystal clear, like yes or no answer to that, right?
no. And this is one of those things that they for certain gatekeep, because if they
Right.
were to come out and say, yes, if you save other people's viral pins, we're going to show the out, those people your pins. If they were
Then
to come
people,
out and say
right.
that, then it's
People would go
gaming the
crazy. Yeah, it
system.
becomes a gaming thing, right? Uh-huh.
Yeah, and they're not going to do that. However,
Right.
I was in an educator meeting recently and I got some slides that I can share the information, but I can't show the slides. So I'm going to
Hmm.
read to you one of the things that it says. It's about user engagement.
Before
And
you do, can you just be crystal clear for people who maybe don't know us well but are watching this video? Like you got these slides directly from Pinterest, correct?
Mhm.
Because you
Yeah,
are, tell us why, just real quick.
I'm in the Pinterest educator program. So this program gives me access to people, resources, and topics that are not privy to the public at all times.
Right. Okay.
So this set of slides, the information I can share, I just can't
Hmm.
share the slides. So don't
Right.
ask me for them.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I have the slides?
It says
Just kidding.
it says
Sorry.
user
I
engagement.
I had to. All right, sorry, go ahead.
I knew you were going to. It says user engagement. The more people engage with a published pin, the more it's distributed on Pinterest. This seems obvious, but this kind of strengthens my argument that if I'm pinning all of Jana's pins and I never pin any of my own, or maybe like 1/10 of all the pins I publish are mine, the more I share Jana's pins and the more people engage with it, the more they're gonna see Jana's pins.
Okay.
So I think there is a time and place if you want to save other people's pins. I don't think there's any harm in doing so. But you have to remember that you also need to be saving and sharing your own pins. This is not a replacement for you doing your own work.
Right, right. That's a very, very good point. That's a good point. And unfortunately, over the years, I've learned, and I'm sure you have too, that often, sometimes, let's say, when people ask questions like, how many pins of other people should I be putting on my boards every week or every month? or what percentage of people's pins, or should I pin competitors' pins? Sometimes the root of that is like people are really still hoping on some
Mhm.
level that you can make money on Pinterest just by saving other people's pins and never creating your own content.
No,
And it don't work like that. So
no,
that's a really good point that we hadn't made yet in this video. This is not, like you said, a substitute for doing your own stuff. We're talking about
yeah,
occasionally pinning other people's or competitors' pins. Yeah.
yeah. User engagement is also important on Pinterest from the standpoint of like, um, they've recently come out and said this. This is actually in the slides. I'm looking at it.
Hmm.
What they're calling social interactions are also valuable to your Pinterest pins. Now, this is not
Interesting.
to say that you need to be replying to every comment or encouraging people to share off Pinterest,
Hmm.
but comments, interactions on the pins, like hitting the heart button and then sharing the pin off of Pinterest. Let's say you want to share a pin to Instagram Reels or not Instagram Reels, Instagram Stories.
Hmm.
Um, all of that is a positive, it goes in the positive column for user engagement. Now, those things are not tracked in your analytics, which is why I'm
Interesting.
telling you, I don't think that this is something you need to chase, but it's something that
Hmm.
Pinterest is like putting in that column of like, this
Hmm.
is good. We like this,
Right,
which makes
right,
sense.
right.
But really it just comes down to content quality, which is what Jana started this
I was
off
just about to
with.
say, yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Engagement on pins, obviously without engagement, the engagement algorithm can't work. Making sure your pins and topics are relevant to the boards that you're saving them to. So again, Jana brought this up.
Hmm.
Making sure the pins that you put on the board, whether they're yours or someone else's, are really relevant to the board. And then a new a new thing for Pinterest for discoverability is uniqueness. They are really valuing fresh pins more and more these days. They came out in 2018 with this whole idea of fresh pins. What, like 8 years later, 7 years later, they've now like added this in the column of like things we really want is
Hmm.
uniqueness. So unique images, unique takes, unique videos, things like that. So that's
Uniqueness.
really what you should follow. That should focus on these things
Hmm.
over I need to have 100 pins on a board or I can't make it public. Like,
Hmm.
please
Yeah.
don't fret.
Yeah. It's so interesting to think the journey that has happened since Pinterest started and when I came on the scene, which was the same time essentially that you came on the scene
Yeah,
back in the days of Board Booster, where we were like,
yeah.
I know you never used it, but I did, because I
I
learned
did
it
actually
client. Oh,
very
you did?
briefly,
Oh, okay.
but
Where we were just like, it was
I
like mass repinning, basically. Like it's just crazy to think about how we were doing that back then.
and it still doesn't make any sense from a user experience standpoint. And that's why when they realized that's what
In a
we were
way.
doing, they were like, okay, we're gonna deprioritize this now. And they did,
Hmm.
which
Yeah.
tells me that they could deprioritize AI pins and AI slop if they
Oh,
really wanted to.
please
Pinterest,
do.
if you're
Please do.
watching, please listen,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Please. I can't even search Pinterest
Oh.
food on my Heather Farris and Co Pinterest account anymore because it's all AI slop.
Hmm.
So annoying.
Yeah, definitely need solutions for it. I hope that they are I'm sure they're working on solutions for it. I know, I'm sure they are. They have to
Yeah.
be. They have to be. Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, I've noticed it a lot too. It's interesting because sometimes I'm fooled. Like I'll see something, especially like a home decor picture, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty. And then in the lower left-hand corner, it says like AI generated or something. And I'm like,
mhm.
really? Really? It's so
Yeah,
interesting.
it's too perfect in a lot of cases.
Yeah, interesting.
Way too perfect. When it's too perfect, that's when I'm like, yeah, this is, or if the blog name is like savorytasty.com.
Yeah. Okay, so the answer to the question, should you repin like other like competitors' Pinterest
Yeah,
pins to your boards and your account? Generally speaking, we lean in the direction of like, yeah, of course, go ahead and do
do
it
it.
because, we tend to believe in competition over, I mean, collaboration over competition anyway. Obviously, that's why we're here and we've been doing this together for years, even though we were literally like direct competitors back in the day when we first started doing content together.
Yeah.
Um, and we also believe that I mean I didn't really mention this already, but we kind of hinted at it that like it depends on your perspective of competition. I never really think about competition. I don't think that there's really true competitors because we all have slightly different ways we teach, different audiences, different styles of teaching, and all of these things kind of like make you in your category of your on your own kind of thing, as opposed
Yeah.
to being a bunch, the same, like cloned version of each other in this like pool of competitors. It's just not really like that in online business when you have like a personal brand like we do. So I don't know. It's not even really a thing, but if you do see competitors' pins, there are times and places to pin them. I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah.
And we just want to remind everybody that that's not like with any repinning strategy. Repinning is never going to be a substitute for creating your own high quality content that really meets the real needs of real humans and pinning it on Pinterest because that's the way you're actually going to monetize as a creator, a coach, a course creator, a service provider, a product seller. Like it's always going to be about your own high quality content and getting more eyes on it. So.
Exactly. So, with that being said, one thing I will say to differentiate, because I know people are going to be like, well, what about me? I'm a special unicorn. If you are selling physical goods, this might be a case where you don't want to pin your competitor spends. But if you have boards that are like similar but not the same, so like let's say you
Yeah.
sell wedding invitations, but you don't create signs for the wedding, or you don't
Hmm.
create welcome like the books or whatever.
Yeah.
You could pin those kinds of things.
Hmm.
This is complimentary. This is what Pinterest calls curation. You can for sure pin that kind of stuff and not get in the way.
Yep. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I was just thinking as I was summarizing and then thinking, I was like, are there alternatives that we can recommend if someone truly is in a space where they don't want to pin their competitors' pins? Because we respect that. If you decide you don't want to, we don't
Yeah.
mind, but if you don't want to, it's fine. What are the alternatives? And I think I mentioned it toward the beginning. So you're talking about basically kind of like a pinning complementary stuff versus competitors' stuff kind of strategy. And that's a really
Yeah.
good example of one. So, just to clarify it a little bit, you're talking about like if you have let's say did you say a wedding photographer? Is that what you said? No.
Like a wedding, you create
Product.
like wedding
Okay,
invitations.
so you create wedding invitations and maybe you have a board that's like, what would the board title be? Something like, um, I'm not in
Like,
that niche. Would it be like
mm,
summer wedding ideas or would it be like,
sure.
okay.
Yeah.
Or even like, just trying to think of like kind of like coming sort of in the middle of the lens, like not too far zoomed out, but also not too far zoomed in. It could be like, I don't know. All right, let's just go with summer wedding ideas. And then like you put summer wedding invitations on there, and then like you said, you put summer wedding signs from a competitor. Maybe summer wedding flower, like
Yeah.
bouquet ideas from a competitor, things like that. Not a competitor, like a complementary business. So that makes sense. Trying to think of another example. So, for example, I always think about health coaches. Like maybe you are someone who teaches people and coaches them around like fertility, let's say.
Yeah.
And
But you don't
you,
create food and you don't cook
right.
on in your, but you want to give your clients or students or whoever
Mhm.
ideas for food. It's a very popular topic on
Right.
Pinterest. You could
Nutrition for
curate that.
fertility. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So basically you're repinning to that board that you have, like fertility nutrition board or something like that.
Mhm.
Ideas from people who have relevant ideas for that board, but aren't necessarily coaches, who
Yeah.
don't offer like a one-to-one coaching program to help people navigate their fertility process or something like that, right? So that would be
Mhm.
another good example. Thanks for helping me
Yeah.
along with it. So that's the
My pleasure.
alternative, right? If you really don't want to pin direct competitors' pins, we
Mhm.
get it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. There's other ways around it.
Yeah. Given that information, I hope you all feel a little bit more at ease with maybe pinning other people's stuff. It's up to you ultimately, but I think if it looks nice, if the content is great, you should do it.
And if it's relevant for your board.
Yeah, if it's relevant.
Mhm.
And the quality. Did I just say quality? I did. And the
Yeah,
quality is good.
you did.
Hit the boxes, check them all.
Mhm. Love it.
All right. Well, we need to do some content planning, so we don't have anything right now, the second for you guys,
For
to
next week.
notify yourself for next week, but we will get on that. It's actually on me. I need to figure out what is going on and then we'll get it scheduled. Um, I've been a busy little bee, so I will get back to my task list there and we'll get
Yeah.
some more lives scheduled for you guys. But same time, same place next week,
Yes,
10
10
a.m.
a.m.
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern time is our new time when the light in my office is reflecting off of my glasses in just the perfect way. I was complaining about this new time because of the way the light is coming in before we hit live. So,
Is that
all
the
right.
living room or the office
Yeah,
window?
right now I'm like straight ahead is the living room, like when
Yeah,
you first walk into the house kind of area where
yeah.
the main source of light is, and like that's east for us.
Hmm.
So the light's coming in, because it's the morning here now instead of
Yeah,
the noon time when I had no reflection in my
when it was a
in my
little further
glasses.
above you.
So we're gonna have to change the time again. No, I'm just kidding. I'm tempted, but
All
or I'll just
right.
not wear my glasses and not be able to see anything. That works
You
too.
might not be able to see though. That's not great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go start in on dinner and I hope you guys all have a great week.
Okay. See you soon.
We're out.
All right.
Okay, I have to figure out